Hey guys, my name is Ellen and today I honestly just felt like putting on some makeup, so I thought I might as well film it. And I'm gonna do one of my favorite like go-to kind of looks recently. I mean, it's not like I really have any occasions to wear this look, but it's a look that I always kind of gravitate towards because it just makes me feel happy when I wear it. And I thought that I would use a bunch of products that I featured in my like September favorites so you can kind of see them in action. So yeah, let's just get to putting some makeup on. So first I'm gonna go in with my Farsali Liquid Glass Serum primer, and this primer was in my favorites because it's just a really nice hydrating, very dewy type of a primer, and it is really great for, I would say, like normal to dry skin types because it is quite hydrating. It has hyaluronic acid in it as well. Okay, so for foundation, I'm gonna mix foundations again from my September favorites. This is the Hourglass Vanish Stick Foundation. I have light beige and vanilla. So light beige is a little bit deep, but I'm just gonna put that kind of like in my contour areas and around my forehead, a little bit like that. And then vanilla, I'm just gonna do a little bit of that in almost like my highlight area. So I'll do a little bit there, like that. So I kind of want to mix it in with this Makeup Forever Ultra HD foundation. This is in the shade R230, which is actually the perfect shade for me. This is like a deluxe sample kind of a size. And I really like this foundation. It's very like middle of the road. It's medium coverage. It's kind of like a nice natural satin finish to it. And I've never mixed it with this foundation before, so I feel like maybe it will look cute together. I don't know. Might as well try. Could be a new fave. So I think what I'm going to do also is spray my sponge with the Armani Prima Refreshing Makeup Fix. What? This is just a nice like hydrating type of a face mist, and it smells delicious. I'm just going to spray the sponge and then put a little bit of that on my sponge and then kind of just go in. Ooh, I feel like the combination of those was so good. It makes my skin look like nice and radiant, I think because of the setting spray, but it's very full coverage. Like, oh, that's exactly what I said about the Hourglass foundation in my favorites, but it's such a good mixing foundation. Like whatever you add to this foundation always looks good no matter what. I don't think I've used anything like mixed in with this that doesn't just make your skin look so pretty. So I'm on to concealer. I'm going to use my Nars Radiant Creamy Concealer. I have the shade Chantilly as my highlighting shade, and I'm basically done with this concealer. Like, it's hard to tell because obviously it's like there's concealer kind of covering the bottle, but I have to kind of scrape to get enough. But this is one of the few concealers that I've actually finished and gone through like a lot of these. I really love this concealer. I feel like this is just a cult classic concealer. Like, I don't know anyone who hasn't tried this concealer. But can I just say, even though I feel like I've reviewed a lot of Nars on my channel lately, like a lot of Nars, the foundation and the eyeshadow palettes and stuff like that, but last year Nars started selling in China, even though you have to test on animals in order to sell in China, and I feel like that's so BS. For Nars to have been cruelty free since like the beginning of their company, and then all of a sudden in friggin' like 2019 or something to decide that that's the great time to start animal testing, like what the hell, Nars? That is some total BS. I actually stopped buying Nars for a while, like right after that happened, because I was so disappointed. I feel like, I don't know why I started buying from them again. I feel like it's just, I do like Nars products, so that's probably why I started buying from them again. I guess that was probably a lame attempt at boycotting someone, but I don't know. I'm still disappointed in it, Nars. Not that you're listening. My skin is starting to look a little bit better, but it's not quite there yet. My breakouts this month were bad. Bad. Like, so bad. But I feel like for a while I didn't want to like film when my skin was really bad, because I just like hated having to look at it, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. Like, I'm going to break out. That's just how it is, and if I'm going to let that stop me and have that be an excuse to not kind of film and do something that I enjoy, then I'm never really going to be able to film without my skin kind of ruling me, you know? So screw it. I'm just going to let my skin show, you know? It is what it is. There's so many people out there break out. I mean, everyone breaks out. Some people have friggin' skin, beautiful skin, where they're like, oh, breakouts, I don't know what that is, and I can't relate to that. But breakouts are a very common, just very natural thing, and I get them every month, so I might as well embrace it, even though I'm 28, so you'd think it would have stopped by now, but guess that's not in the cards for me. I didn't even say I'm mixing in the shade, the Chantilly shade, as well as the shade Macadamia, which I just dropped on my floor, but Macadamia is like way too dark for me. I bought that when I was self-tanning, but I just mixed those two shades together and I can kind of spot conceal perfectly fine. And this little brush from Wet n Wild is so freaking bomb. Oh my god, I love this brush so much. So this is from their My Melody and Kuromi collection, and it's like a dual-ended brush that they said was for highlighter and blush, but I do not use that for that at all. To me, this is like the most perfect brush for doing concealer, and then you can kind of blend out larger areas of concealer with this side, but this side is also amazing and the most perfect shape for setting areas like underneath the eyes, because you can kind of turn the brush sideways and fit it right in the kind of hollows right there, and then you can kind of press the powder in like that. It's such a good brush for that. I literally bought 3 of these because this brush is so amazing. I find myself using it like every single time I do my makeup. So to set underneath my eyes, I have been using a combination of 2 products. So this is the CoverGirl Advanced Radiance Powder. This is in the shade 110 Creamy Natural. And then this powder is from Kat Von D, and it's one of her single powder shadows from her like Shade and Light contour collection. These 2 shades are from the original palette, which was like pre-made, and then this one was one of the new shades that she had come out with. I mean, not recently, this was a long time ago, but this is the shade Vanilla, so it's just like a nice kind of a white ivory shade. So I mix these 2 together, and I'm just gonna take again that same brush. I love how bright this kind of powder is. It's nice and sheer, like these are not super opaque powders, so you can blend them quite nicely on the face without it looking super obvious. But this powder I really like because it has like a very like creamy kind of a thickness to it, so it looks very, very nice underneath the eyes, and it doesn't like accentuate the kind of fine lines and things that you have underneath the eyes, as long as you only use like a small amount of it. And I bought this powder for under the eyes because I remember that Taupe here on YouTube, she hasn't been on YouTube for a while now, but she had put that as one of her drugstore favorites a lot, saying that that was like one of her favorite powders, I think for underneath the eyes, or maybe just for setting the whole face. I don't remember, but I remember that when she was raving about it, I went out and found it, and I do really, really love that powder. I feel like that's a good drugstore powder for if you have dry skin, because it does have that kind of like thick creaminess to it, so it is nice on dry areas of the skin. It doesn't kind of accentuate dryness, which I really, really like. And obviously it's drugstore, it's CoverGirl, so it's easy to find and it's inexpensive, which is awesome. I wonder when Tati's coming back to YouTube. I feel like that whole thing was so crazy. What am I going to do now? I think I'm just going to really lightly set the rest of my face. Actually, no. Before I do that, I'm going to go in with a cream bronzer. So, for bronzer, I'm using my Chanel Soleil de Tan. And this is just like an old school cult classic, everybody loves it type product. So I think for that, I'm going to use the Smashbox Angled Powder Brush. Obviously, this is not a powder, but I kind of like the shape of this brush for that. It's like almost like good for contouring kind of a shape, but it's nice and kind of dense and stippled, so it's actually quite nice with powder products. Or I mean with cream products. So I'm just gonna almost use that like a bronzer. Oh, and I was just looking the other day, and I had known that Chanel had repackaged this Soleil de Tan, and they call it a different name now. I think they call it like the bronzing cream, but I, for some reason, had just assumed that they had just repackaged it because it's such a popular product, and it's so, like, I don't know, it's just one of those products that really stands the test of time. Anyone who uses it, who obviously can use this color, because obviously it's not, you know, someone who has a deep skin tone is not going to gain anything from this tone, but I feel like anyone who can use this product and who has used it, like, absolutely loves this, and it's been around forever. So I just assumed that they wouldn't, you know, if it's not broken, don't fix it kind of a thing. But when I looked up this product, I saw a bunch of YouTube videos where people were saying that this was actually reformulated. So they reformulated it, and that's why they changed the name and the packaging and stuff like that. And everyone says it's not as good as the original version. And I'm like, wait, what? Why would you do that? This product is so freaking good. There's no other cream bronzer that I've used that has the, like, quite the same consistency to this. It's just so perfect. Like, it's sheer, but it still packs a punch. You can build it up and it never feels like greasy or heavy on the skin, even though it's a cream product. It doesn't move around. I don't know. I feel like the only thing that I would change about this is just add more colors, you know, like make maybe one that's more cooler, and then that can be like the light shades of this, and then you can like have a deeper range, you know, like a medium and deeper range where you have colors that people can use if they have a deeper skin tone. Like, I feel like that would literally be the only thing that I would change. I wouldn't take like a perfectly popular product that people have loved forever and like reformulated it. I mean, I obviously haven't used the new one, so I can't say whether it is actually worse or whatever, but I mean, I assume if more than one person is saying that it's different, then gotta believe him, you know? Okay, so now I'm going to really lightly set my face. So I think I might use this powder. This is the Giorgio Armani Neo Nude Fusion Powder in the shade 3. This is a powder I talked about in my September favorites. This is a really great hydrating powder. I said in that video that if you have dry skin, this would be like the #1 powder that I would recommend to you, because it just looks so nice and kind of glowy on the skin. But more so than it just being glowy, it actually does feel so creamy. Like, it's the most like creamy, kind of like emollient feeling powder that I own. So for highlight, I rediscovered this little liquid Moonstone highlighter from Becca, because it had fallen like into the back of my drawer, and I literally haven't used this in like years. Or not years, then it would be old, but I mean like a year or something like that. And then when I found it very recently, I've been using it again, and I really love this. If I'm not mistaken, you can't buy these little like lip gloss size highlighters from Becca, but I think they should start selling them at this size, because I mean, maybe they do, but I feel like I don't remember them having this little size of them for sale, because I know they have like the big liquid highlighters, which I've never purchased the big one because I could never get through that much highlighter. Like, I need to use so little of this to highlight my face. And I mean, I've actually, from before, I actually used like a substantial amount of it. It's kind of, if actually like down to here, like halfway through. But I mean, I've had this for like probably a couple years, so they should definitely just sell these little sizes, because then you would pay less and you wouldn't actually waste product and have product be getting old. I mean, I guess it's different if you were to use this on your whole body, like during the summer, if you use it as a body highlight and you know, maybe you go through it faster that way. Okay, so blush, and then my base is done. So I'm going to use the Buxom Wanderlust blush in the shade Seychelles. So this is a beautiful, kind of a nudie, like warm rose shade, and This product is, because it's primer infused, it actually has like a nice wear time on the cheeks. It's kind of hard sometimes to find blushes that last nicely on the cheeks because they generally are the kind of first base product to fade on the face. It's very pigmented though, so you have to be careful not to pick up too much. Okay, so off camera I primed my lids using the MAC Painterly Paint Pot, and then I did my brows using the brow blade from Urban Decay. So to do my eyes, I'm going to zoom you in and then we will get to that. Okay, so to start off with, I'm taking this Bobbi Brown Longwear Cream Shadow Stick, and this is in the shade Taupe, and it's kind of like a mid-tone, sort of neutral to warm brown. And I'm just going to take a little bit like that right above my crease. Okay, so I'm taking a MAC 217 to blend that out. Okay, so for the eye look, other than the crease shade that I just did, this is a look that I saw Kathleen Light do, or these are the products that I saw her use. I'm not sure what video it was in, but she had used these 3 products all together, and the look is so good, and I use it all the time because it really just is like, it's so delicious. And I had 2 of the products already. So the first one is the Charlotte Tilbury Eyes to Mesmerize in Amber Gold. So this used to be called Bette, but she renamed them, so it's Amber Gold. And then the next product is the Block Party eyeshadow in the shade Encore, which is a product that I featured in my September favorites. And then the third is a glitter glue. So this is the Urban Decay Heavy Metal Glitter Glue in the shade Starfire. So I had these 2 products already, and then I had bought a couple of these Dose of Colors eyeshadows after I saw her use them because they were so pretty, especially this shade. So I'm going to take the same MAC 217 and go into this Amber Gold shade from Charlotte Tilbury, and this is a really nice cream eyeshadow. It also sets down, so you have some time to play with it, which is nice, but after it does set down, it lasts really nicely on the lids. And this is just like a nice warm kind of an amber shade, an amber gold brown kind of a shade. And I'm just gonna kind of start with that and then kind of just blend what's left on my brush upwards. So with the Encore shade from Dose of Colors, I'm going to use this Sonia G Builder 3, which is just a flat kind of a packing shader type brush. And I'm just going to take a bunch of that. And this shadow looks really beautiful when you wet it, but because I'm already going in over a cream shadow, you don't have to do that because it has something nice to adhere to already. And I'm just going to go in and kind of use the majority of that right on my lash line, and then I'm just going to kind of blend upwards, kind of the exact same thing I did with the Charlotte Tilbury Amber Gold. Look how pretty that color is! So I'm going to go in with a little more and just kind of build that up. Okay, so I'm just using a blending brush that has nothing on it, and I'm just going to lightly kind of go around the edges and make sure everything is blended. And then the last thing is taking this Urban Decay Heavy Metals glitter eyeliner over top. So this was just like a really nice touch to add extra sparkle and just make it a little bit more, you know, like fun and just fun and glittery. You don't have to add glitter, of course. This is just like, you know, just makes it extra, an extra pop of something. And then just really lightly kind of blending that out. And you can definitely add, you know, however much glitter you want. You can add more, you can add less, depending on how glittery you want it, but I think that is enough. So what I'm doing now is I'm taking Nylon from MAC, and I'm just using that as my inner corner highlight. And then I'm just kind of wiping that brush off lightly, and I'm taking this shade from Anastasia, and it's Blanc. It's like a white shade. Well, not white, it's like more like a ivory kind of a shade. So there's like a little bit of a depth to it. It's not just a plain white, but it's almost a white. And I use this as a matte brow bone highlight because I don't, especially in looks like this where I have a lot of shimmer already, I don't necessarily love to have shimmer also in the brow bone. Okay, so for my lower lash line, I'm going to go back into that Charlotte Tilbury, and I'm just going to just really lightly blend that on my lower lash line and kind of just blend it downwards so the majority of it is like right on the lash line. So now I'm going in with the same brush and that Encore shade from Dose of Colors, and then I'm just taking that right on there and blending it out. And then this is the color that I'm really like diffusing, blending outwards. And then I'm just going to take that same Chikuhodo brush and then really lightly just kind of blending that downwards. Okay, so I'm going in with Costa Riche from MAC, which is one of my favorite eyeliners. It is a brown shade, but it actually matches this Encore shade like perfectly, because it's a brown, but there's like a little bit of a warm like metallicness to it, and it has kind of a reddy undertone. And then what I'm going to do is just really messily put that on my upper lash line. Okay, so I'm going to curl my lashes and put on mascara. Okay, so I decided that I want to add a lash because why not? So the lash I'm going to add, I've just trimmed it, and it is Chignon from Kiss. So they are like, you know, very, very spiky and lots of little gaps. So it just makes like a very kind of spiky baby doll kind of a look to the eye. So I'm going to put that on and do my other eye, finish my other eye off camera, and then I will be right back to do the lips and finish up the look. So 1 second. Okay, so there are the eyes done. When I kind of do this eye look during the day, I obviously don't wear lashes, or not obviously, if you wear lashes during the day, it's fine. But I mean, I don't wear lashes. I usually just do the mascara. But I feel like these lashes have just added like a super sexy catty kind of like, you know, something like that, if that makes any sense, which doesn't. So for lips, what I'm going to do first is use, well, I have two lip liners, so they're both from MAC. I have Stone and Subculture. So I like to use Stone just kind of at like the Cupid's bow, and then in the inner corner and down here. And then I take Subculture and I just line my lips kind of normally, and I basically go over that. Okay, so for lips, I'm going to take this Hourglass Femme Nude lipstick in the shade Nude number 1. And I'm just going to take that everywhere. Is that what I wanted? No. Okay, so I put a little bit of that on, which is fine. But I think I'm going to go over that with Nars Belle de Jour. And this is like a glossy, sheer kind of a lipstick, but it has like a very warm kind of an undertone to it. Here is the finished look. I really love how it turned out. Obviously I used a bunch of my favorites, and I've done kind of this eye look before, but with the lashes I feel like it's super sassy pants, you know? So I really like it, but I have nothing to do, so I'm just gonna end up taking it off in an hour, but that's okay. I really felt like just playing and putting on some makeup today. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful in one way or another. If you did enjoy it, please like and subscribe, and have an amazing day or night wherever you are. Bye!